afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Podcast in the Park, the podcast for Deer Park Community City Schools. This is Director of Communications Jake Snyder here with you on Friday, February 2nd, and we are now on episode 6 of our district-wide podcast. Joining me, as always, is Deer Park Superintendent Jay Phillips.
Thanks, Jake. Great to be here again.
As we kick things off here in episode 6, Mr. Phillips and I are joined by Director of Curriculum and Instruction Dave Bergen.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being with us, gentlemen. And I really want to start things off this month with something that's going on at the high school for about 5 years now, but this year it's taken on a new look. So, Mr. Phillips, can you just elaborate a little bit on our college and career readiness conferences, which we're now calling Beyond Deer Park?
Yeah, Jake, absolutely. I'd love to talk about our college and career readiness meetings. You know, this is something we started in our district probably 4.5 years ago. And the intent of our college and career readiness meetings is for 7th through 12th graders to be able to lead a conference or a meeting, if you will, with their parents to discuss their future plans. They talk about where they want to be in 4 to 5 years and how they're going to get there. You know, it's something that we do right before registration. So, you know, as kids decide what kind of careers they may be interested in and what kind of majors they want to declare after high school, or what careers or military options they want to pursue after high school, you know, they have that opportunity at that time, then a week or two after these conferences, to register for classes that'll help them get there. We spent a lot of time in our expels preparing for these meetings, and it's something that over the course of my listening sessions this fall, many parents and community members talked about better readying our kids for the next level and for what they're going to do after high school. So that really got me thinking about how we could make these meetings more meaningful. And Dave Bergen, our Director of Curriculum, he's really taken charge of these meetings with our counselors at the junior senior high school, as well as with Dr. Orso and Mr. Hartley. And they're really working on making these meetings more powerful and more beneficial for our families moving forward. Mr. Bergen, would you want to tell us a little bit about what to expect this year as we head towards our college and career readiness meetings?
Yeah, Jay, thanks. You know, as we started our work this year on our CCR conferences and trying to reemphasize the work and make sure that we're making the most of this time with our students and our parents, one of the things that became very clear is that our staff and our guidance counselors and our administration at the high school has really been spending a lot of time and energy around college and career readiness through these expels. And these student-led conferences are a really, really valuable, important time for our parents to hear about all this great work and to make sure that they're setting up their plan for success. Some of the things that became really clear to us is that, you know, it's hard to get our families out. And so even though they've done a lot of work around these things throughout the course of the year, we need to make sure this is a really meaningful and memorable time for our families to make sure that once they come out, they keep coming back. Our first attempt is to get our families in the doors to really look at, you know, what do we want to call this night? You know, we've been calling it CCR, College and Career Readiness, but when you say CCR, it just doesn't really mean anything to a lot of our students, to our families. So really what we're talking about is Beyond Deer Park. You know, what is your plan beyond Deer Park High School? So as we sat and talked through, that was really our first step in our visioning for this year is, you know, what are we going to call it? How can we rebrand it so that everybody's on the same page? We're really talking about Beyond Deer Park and how do you make that plan for success? Once we had that kind of name and vision, we then really set our sights on, we need to make sure that everyone is kind of marching to the same orders during these conferences. And so we looked at, you know, what our staff and our students will be talking about. Dr. Orsto, Mr. Hartley, and the guidance staff have been working hard with our staff to make sure that every staff member and every student are working through the same really important topics while they're there. And then on top of the conferences, our goal for the night is to create some experiences for the families. We're going to provide a meal for families so that they can go to the conferences together, they can sit and have food together. In addition to creating a meal for families to sit and enjoy after their conferences or before their conferences, we're also going to create some sessions on topics that our families have said, you know, they really would like to learn more about. So we're going to talk about graduation requirements. You know, those have been changing a lot over these past couple of years, and to be honest, they continue to change. So we're going to have a chance for families to come and learn about the changing graduation requirements. We're going to have a chance for our families to learn more about our career academies options and the new coursework that's going on there. It'll be open for tours and people can come and see the facilities. We're also going to have representatives from local colleges out talking about the CCP Credit Flex option. And we're also going to have some staff on hand to lead some sessions about how to successfully apply for universities, how to write essays that will grab the attentions of an admissions counselor. So we're really excited about the work. Please, you know, keep your eyes open for our communication as it continues to comes out from Jake. We're really excited about the branding and the work that's going on behind the scenes, and we hope to see everyone out for Beyond Deer Park conferences.
Well, thanks for walking through that with us, Dave. I definitely know that we're all looking forward to seeing all the potential that those Beyond Deer Park conferences can have as we move forward. And gentlemen, kind of in that same vein of things going on coming up, it is definitely a really busy time here in the park. So, Mr. Phillips, this month we have a ton of great offerings for the community on the docket. So, can you just take me through a few of the things that we've got going on?
Yeah, absolutely, Jake. We talked a little bit about this in a prior podcast, and it's been on our website. We've pushed it out through media releases as well, but we're right in the middle of our strategic planning process. Coming up February 13th at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., we're having two different open focus group meetings for anyone in the community, teachers, parents that would like to attend and really lend their thoughts and ideas to our future strategic plan. We're really going to be working on what the next 5 years here in Deer Park look like, how we're going to get there, and what are some measurables that we want to hold ourselves accountable for moving forward. So I'm really excited about that process and the direction that that'll take our district. And then we also have our topping out ceremony this month. And really what that is it's an opportunity for all of our kids in grades K to 6 to sign that final steel beam that's going to be put into place at the Amity project in our new construction. It's really a cool thing, and it's very symbolic for this district, and a piece of each of those students from their signature on that steel beam will be tucked away in that building forever, and that's a really cool thing for our kids. It's something that's very customary when you're building a new building like this, and we invite anyone in the community to come out on February the 15th. We will be holding this topping out ceremony at 1:00 p.m. Beach Avenue will be shut down from noon until 2 p.m. that day for us to all gather there and watch the construction crew actually put that final beam in place. It should be a great day. We'll have hopefully good weather and come out and enjoy a good time as we celebrate the really second phase of our Amity project being completed. And lastly, I want to turn it over to Mr. Bergen because he's been working really hard with our local library and Natalie Fields, our head librarian at the Deer Park Library, on organizing a really cool event for our community and our students. So I'm going to let Dave talk a little bit more about that event that we have coming up.
Thanks, Jay. We're really excited about this event coming up on February 13th at 6 p.m. at Holmes. Our Deer Park PTO, as well as our Hamilton County Library, has funded this event. Our kids are going to have a chance to interact with Mr. Hillenbrand during the day. Our K through 4th graders are going to be reading books with their teachers leading up to the event, and then they're going to hear him talk about what it means to be an author and some of the processes he uses when he writes books and illustrates books. And then in the evening at 6 p.m., our library is sponsoring an event where families from all around the community are welcome to come in and get to meet and interact with Mr. Hillenbrand. And he's going to stick around afterwards and sign books. There's going to be some light refreshments served. His books will also be for sale at that event. They're going to be 20% off list price, and 20% of all profits, or 20% of all money taken in by the books is actually going to go back towards our Deer Park PTO. So it's an event sponsored by our PTO and our library. It's a unique opportunity. We hope we see a lot of people out. It's 6 p.m. on February 13th at Holmes.
Yeah, thanks for walking us through those events coming up, gentlemen, and we're definitely looking forward to a lot of things here in the coming months. Finally, to wrap things up here this week, Mr. Phillips, last year the high school seniors, they started a program that turned into an experience that I know many of them will never forget. Senior Serve is a week-long community service event that's coming up in April, but I believe they're looking for some volunteers right now.
Yeah, absolutely they are, Jake. And you're right, it is a great event, and it's hopefully going to be turning into a tradition for us. This is year 2 of Senior Serve, and a lot of thanks go out to Mr. Hubbard and Miss Madden at the Junior Senior High School for helping to organize this incredible event. We are looking for volunteers. The Senior Serve takes place the week of April 9th, and every day that week, April 9th, April 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, we are in need of volunteers desperately. While this event is fantastic for our seniors, it takes a lot of people to make this happen. So if you're interested in volunteering, you'll be committing about 5.5 to 6 hours of your time. We're looking for people to report to Deer Park Junior Senior High School at 8 a.m., and you'll be getting back between 1 and 1:30 in the afternoon. If you would like to sign up We're looking for volunteers to sign up by February 16th. And if you want to sign up, please contact Miss Madden at our senior high school, and she will get you on the list and tell you all the details from there. So, we're looking forward to another great Senior Serve event, and we can't wait for it.
And that's going to close things out for us for February edition of Podcast in the Park. Thanks to everyone for listening to episode 6. We'll be back in March with 10 minutes or so from myself and Mr. Phillips and more special guests. From Jay Phillips, Dave Bergen, and myself, thanks for joining us, and as always, go Wildcats!